We're back with UCL Fantasy content, this time ahead of Matchday 7, so the round of 16. I'm going to be talking about my Game Week 6 performance very briefly, then looking ahead to Matchday 7 and my first draft which I've come up with. And let me know what you think of all of this down in the comment section below. And be sure to smash the like button and subscribe if you're new around here. We're almost at 10,000 subscribers. And a massive shout out to all channel members, especially those in the Captain and Legend tiers. So Aranya, Yarang, and also Rock and Roll. So thank you very much to all of you. Let's get straight into the video. Despite the fact that match days 5 and 6 haven't really gone according to plan, there was a good ending there with that Villarreal-Atalanta game that was rescheduled for the following day. Danjuma came up very clutch there and turned the pretty average week into a pretty good one. So I got 80 points overall, and in terms of my overall rank, I'm around a 1,826, and I'm looking to get back to where I was before, around the 500 mark and maybe beyond. That would be exceptional. I'd be very happy with that. But for now, still pretty happy with my rank overall. It's much better than at this stage last season, and I think I can push on and do even better. Now, in terms of the captaincy, it didn't really go according to plan. My original captain was Salah, then I changed it to Lewandowski, who ended up scoring fewer points, but to be honest, still not too bad. At least they didn't blank completely. The only blanks I really had in matchday 6 was from Mendy and also Azpilicueta. The rest did their job, so can't complain there too much, and of course everyone else on the bench. But to be honest, the kind of transfers I made recently in match days 5 and 6 haven't gone according to plan. So I got rid of Foden ahead of match day 5, then brought him back in match day 6. All about timing. I didn't get that right. I also got rid of Bellingham in match day 5 when he did very well. Got back Salah, and it didn't really pay off in the end. But ultimately, still a good position to be in, and I'm very happy with the squad that I had. But there are going to be some changes, of course, and I will be talking about some things across the video which are very important in UCL Fantasy. Just for those of you who are new, maybe some of you are starting now in match day 7 in preparation for next season. But there are some people who have started the game already and aren't aware of certain things. So I'm going to be talking about that as I discuss my first draft. So in terms of match day 6, pretty happy. Match day 5 was pretty poor in my opinion, same with match day 1, but match days 2 and 4 were exceptional, where I was pretty much around the 100-point mark every single week. I want to try to maintain that consistency. I've already used both of my chips, so yeah, don't have any of them to count on now. Those of you who have any of those chips are actually in a very good position, especially if you're already happy with the rank you're in. But ultimately, there's different ways of playing this game, and with unlimited transfers heading into match day 7, that's pretty much like a wild card in essence, but you can't not make any transfers and save that kind of wild card later on in the campaign. You have to make unlimited transfers now, otherwise you won't be able to do so again unless you have the wild card. So as you can see with my team, I'm not going to explain too much in terms of each player's performance. I mean, I made a transfer like Grimaldo in very late into match day 6. I was pretty happy with the double Benfica defence, and they've actually been pretty decent throughout the Champions League campaign. But now let's actually just talk about match day 7 and the players I've come up with. There's a few things that aren't settled yet, and there could be some differences in my team selection, but quite happy with this draft, and let me know once again what you think of it when we go through it. To start the team off, we've got Mendy and a cheap goalkeeper, and later on when I show you what I have right now, there's going to be slightly different keeper. I've got Destanoglu still from my previous team. Remember, if you are making a team right now heading into match day 7, you will not be able to include any players who have been eliminated. Now, why would you want any eliminated players? Really just for budget. So there might be 1 or 2 spots where you want to just have a bench fodder option. They're not going to play, but they're cheap and they're enablers, and it gives you quite a lot of flexibility to do what you want with the rest of your squad. Now, right here, I'm on the create a team page, so I'm not logged into my account, and I have a higher budget compared to the 100 million or 105 million now it is that you get when you start off the game. So that's why there's going to be a few differences when I show you the final team. But right here, we've got Mendy and a cheap goalkeeper. In my case, it's going to be Destanoglu. I've got a bit of a dilemma here. Do I go for Mendy or do I go for Manuel Neuer? That's something I have to think about, but there are a few reasons why I've opted for Chelsea instead going for Mendy, because I'd rather probably double up on their defence than Bayern Munich, who are a better team than Chelsea, arguably, but the defence, I'm not too sure about that. But that's something that could change by the time the deadline closes, and that's in 2 weeks' time from now. But yeah, I've gone for Mendy and a cheap goalkeeper. But what you could do is go for 2 medium-price goalkeepers around 5 million and go that way. And it's very important to have squad depth in UCL Fantasy. And remember, you can make substitutions. So if someone blanks on a Tuesday and then the following day or the following week, you can actually make substitutions and change things accordingly, and you can get rid of those players who blank and bring in players who have yet to play, and that increases your chances of getting more points. So that's something else you could do. And I'll be honest, the goalkeepers is probably the area I'm least confident in terms of this first draft. But right now we've got Mendy and a cheap goalkeeper like Destonoglu. And now let's get on to the defenders. For our defenders, a bit similar to FPL, we've got Joao Cancelo and Trent, who I think are just two of the best assets in the entire game. Now, Trent was someone that I wasn't too sure of in UCL Fantasy, but as the campaign has evolved, he has just been getting better and better, and I think that he can continue his Premier League form into the Champions League. So I would go for one Liverpool defender, and I would go for Trent, who can get ball recoveries, but with him you're mainly looking at clean sheets and assists. So I think he's a worthwhile inclusion despite his very hefty price tag. Joao Cancelo has been the best defender in my opinion, if not one of the best in this Champions League campaign, and I think he's worth inclusion. I've also gone for Rudiger. One Chelsea defender is worth it, especially someone like Rudiger, who's nailed, who can get the occasional goal, and also very good with ball recoveries. And the same goes for everyone else on this list. That's why Nicolas Süle's in there. He's been a bit hit and miss, so when he is in the team, he gets a lot of points due to clean sheets and ball recoveries, but at the same time he can be in and out of the team because he's not the most nailed defender in the world. But if he can cement that spot in the long term, Nicolas Süle is probably the best Bayern Munich defender you can pick. And then we've got Mazzari, who's been very good, to be honest. He started at 4.5 million. Ajax have been keeping a lot of clean sheets in the Eredivisie and also in the Champions League, and Mazzari can get the occasional attack and return. So I'm very happy with this defence. It's well balanced, and maybe you could find someone cheaper, but to be honest, if you're looking at the cheaper options, there's no one really that stands out. But at the same time, I think this 5 is a good balance, and you might argue it's too much money invested in the defence, but at times the defence can really carry through and do very well for your team. So I would recommend having a good defence. Maybe, once again, you can go for a cheaper defender for one of these options, but at the same time, I would go and invest quite a bit of money in this area, and I'm pretty happy with this overall. We're now onto the midfield, and it looks a bit similar to what I had during the group stages. Leroy Sané is the highest scoring player in the entire game, and I think he's worth including. With Bayern Munich, their strength is in their attack, so Leroy Sané and Lewandowski is the ideal double up in Bayern attack. And Salah is just Salah. We know what he's been doing all season for Egypt, for Liverpool, in all competitions. So I think he's definitely the one to go for. I also like Kevin De Bruyne, Mahrez, and a few others from City. But there's always the kind of occasional rotation. And with City, goals come from so many different avenues. But with Liverpool, the majority come from Salah, whether he scores or assists them. Leroy Sané is the second best in terms of a Bayern attacker who gets a lot of goal contributions, with Lewandowski obviously being first. So I would go for these two. Danjuma is actually a good choice. He is facing Juventus, but they're not the same team from the last few years, so they are beatable, and I think Danjuma could be very good. He's actually been very consistent in the Champions League, and he's only blanked once, I believe, so Danjuma is worthwhile. And then also Jorginho. In FPL, I would never go near him, but because ball recoveries are in the equation, Jorginho is such a good asset in this game, and also he's got the penalties in his arsenal, so if he can get some ball recoveries and a goal, or even an assist, then Jorginho's in for a very big haul, and he's even done it in this Champions League campaign. He did it last season, so Jorginho is definitely worth including. And then we've got Okafor, so if you want someone very cheap who's got quite a lot of attacking threat, then Okafor is the one. I'm still a bit sceptical about this pick because he is facing Bayern Munich, so the chances of progression are very slim, and also of returns, they're not that high. So I might reconsider Okafor and possibly one of the other midfielders, but on the whole, I'm quite happy with the defenders and midfielders up to this point, and really it's the goalkeepers which could change quite drastically by the end when I talk about my team selection in the future. But quite happy with this midfield, and it's very similar to what I had before. And now let's go on to the forwards. To conclude this team, we have Robert Lewandowski. I think he's almost a must-have. He's been so consistent in the last few seasons, and with no Erling Haaland now in the competition, that kind of removes one of those players that you always want to include in your team, and Lewandowski is right now the standout. Messi's actually been doing very well in the Champions League this season. The same goes for Ronaldo, but honestly, looking at those two teams, I'd rather cover them with other players. So Mbappe from PSG and also possibly Bruno Fernandes from Manchester United. But at the same time, with this team structure, I would probably go for the premiums that you see on screen. So Lewandowski, Mbappe, and probably Salah. And to be honest, I'm very happy with this team. Haller is also the final forward, and he is the top scorer in the Champions League this season, along with Lewandowski. No one expected Haller to really get on like a house on fire, but he has, and you have to give him a lot of credit for that. And he's just been one of the best Champions League assets in the whole season. You know, he's the second highest behind Leroy Sané, and I'm very happy with this team. As you can see, quite a lot of the high scoring players so far this season are included, and things could change. So some of these players that maybe haven't played too much so far, or that don't have that many points to show, they could start to shine. But these players, I'm quite confident, will do well. Now, Mbappe is facing Real Madrid, and that's not the easiest fixture, so you could go for someone else. But otherwise, I think he's still a good inclusion, and he could do very well against Real Madrid, who still, they've been quite good this season and in previous campaigns, but they're still not the same Real Madrid of old. But you never know, that should be a quite tough game between PSG and Real Madrid. One thing I would say about Mbappe is that he's been very consistent this season, especially in the Champions League. But PSG are a very, very weird team. They just haven't gelled yet. But Lewandowski is definitely almost a certified player in my team and cemented. Haller, almost the same thing. Mbappe could change. But there you go. That's my first draft. Let me know what you think. And now I'm going to be talking about the structure. So who's going to be on the bench? Who's going to be my captain? Just with this draft, obviously. So it's not final. It's just the first draft. And we're just going to go straight into that now. It's very important to remember that in UCL Fantasy you can have captains on different days, and there's also substitution windows which are very important. So as you can see here, on the Tuesday 15th of February, Sporting play Manchester City and PSG play Real Madrid. So you can captain a player from one of those 4 games, and if they don't do that well or blank, you can actually change the captain and also make substitutions during these substitution windows, which you can see on screen before the deadline of the Wednesday games. So that's very important. So I'm going to be talking about my captains with the team I have, and also how my bench is structured. But really on the 15th of February, I could captain Mbappe with the players I have at my disposal, but I think I would be going for Joao Cancelo, who is facing Sporting. That's the easier fixture on paper. I think City could keep a clean sheet, and Cancelo could get an attack and return as well as ball recovery. So I think his ceiling is quite high, and Cancelo could be my captain there. But hopefully you got that. It's very important, because some people, even though I've made these videos and also they might have been playing UCL Fantasy for a while, don't know this or aren't aware of it, but you're limiting yourself severely if you aren't changing the captaincy and increasing your chances of captaincy returns. This is how my team looks like at the moment and how it's lining up. So Destinoglu is there. Like I said, that's the only difference from the team I was showing before, because I wasn't able to add Destinoglu with creating a new team. But Joao Cancelo is my captain for the first day. And as you can see with the dates, you can sort this out by date. So you can change the price, fixtures, date, total points. Click on date and make sure that those on your bench aren't playing on the first day. You want to have players on the bench who are playing on the final days. So in this case, it's the 22nd and the 23rd of February. So Rudiger, Haller and Mazzari are all on the bench, but they can come on if needed. So anyone who plays before that date, who blanks or doesn't do too well, they can be subbed off for one of those players. And that's why maybe with the goalkeepers, I could go for 2 playing goalkeepers and increase my chances of returns in that position as well. So Joao Cancelo would be my captain for the 15th of February. On the 16th, that's where it's a bit more open. I think I'll probably go for Lewandowski or Salah as always, but I would probably go for one of the Chelsea players, Rudiger or Jorginho. And on the 23rd, I think Haller would be my captain. It's a bit of a shame that Lewandowski and Salah are playing on the same day, because they would make very good captains on different days. So Salah playing on the 16th and also Lewandowski playing on the 22nd. You can easily switch the captaincy between 2 of the best players and informed players in the world. But that's kind of my rough draft in terms of my lineup, my plans as well with the substitutions, and also my captains. Let me know what you're doing right now, and also which other players you're considering, maybe some differentials. There's plenty on the horizon. There's a lot of players that can have 1% ownership. They're actually very good players and that have scored a lot of points in the past. And also let me know what you think of this team. What could be improved? What do you like about it? I'd be curious to know your thoughts. Thank you very much for watching as well. If you enjoyed this video, smash the like button and subscribe if you're new around here. Now, just because I've selected these 15 players, that doesn't mean there aren't others that could do very well too. There's so many players to talk about, and there's going to be a team selection video, also the best limitless team for any of you who are considering using the chip, and much more, including the deadline stream on the day of the 15th of February on the Tuesday. So stay tuned for all of that content, and the same goes for FPL, with football being back very soon, the winter break being over in the Premier League. There's going to be plenty of content there as well, including a transfer tips video, team selection, and much more. So thank you for tuning in. good luck for Matchday 7 and the rest of the Champions League campaign. Hopefully you enjoy the football, and also the same goes for FPL. Be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, Dylan_RCM. You can also check the description below for the league code and also the league link. So all you have to do is click the link and you're automatically in the league. The same goes for FPL, and also the Discord server, and also the channel membership. So if you want to become a channel member, check out all the perks. If you become a legend, for example, you have exclusive early access to my videos. So check them out. I think you'll enjoy them, and also just much appreciate all the support. We're almost at 10,000 subscribers. So any like, comment, share, or anything would be massively appreciated. All the very best of luck. Enjoy the football, and I'll see you next time.